Now there's two more steps to finishing this. The first one is to sew your turning slit closed. I have threaded my needle with base thread to match the backing fabric because you don't want it to show. And I always use double thread to sew. It gives it so much more strength. So I'm just going to do a quick whip stitch. I go up at the outside edge of my buttonhole stitch that I stitched, and I come back down on the other side, and I just go back and forth like that, one next to the other, so that the slit will be nicely closed, won't come open at all. And the longer your slit is, the longer this takes. You want to do a good job though, because pot holders go through the wash on a pretty regular basis, and you don't want this coming open and your outsides, innards falling out. So take your time and do a good job. It doesn't matter if you have a few frays sticking up, because the buttonhole stitch will stop it from going anywhere. Alright, now we're to the end. We need to knot it. And I like to do a double knot. That means I do two double knots. Lay it flat, pick up the loop you have left, pull it so it's about that far, bring your needle through it once, twice, then hold it as you pull it down. That's, oops, I broke it. And I do that again, and you've got a double knot. I have used this for 50 years. I have never yet had one of these knots come out. Now my thread broke, so I'm just going to do the second double knot by hand. So I want to make sure that this doesn't come undone. So I'll just tie a couple of knots by hand. There. Good. Alright, now the last thing you need to do is quilt your pot holder, because going through the wash as often as they do, it will twist inside there. The batting will want to twist because there's nothing except the outside stitch, the outside edge, to hold the batting in place, and all of this can just wad up if it wants to. So I'm going to quilt in on each one of these leaves. Okay, now the leaves, if you look here on my template, see how it comes down like this? So I'm going to do that on each one of my leaves, bring it down like this. I'm using chalk so I can see it, and it comes off real easy. So this quilting will keep the batting from shifting when you're washing it. I'm going to quilt along my chalk lines. Chalk is a wonderful thing to use. It comes off really easy when you're finished with it. And because I wanted to have a little bit of a definition, I'm using variegated green to gold thread. I'm going to do it in a narrow satin stitch just so that it will show up. So put down my, well, I need it right there on the point. There we go. Back stitch. Come on. All right, here's my first one. And also this helps, since you've already sewed down your turning slit, this will help keep it shut because I'm sewing across it a couple of times. want to do the one across. Now if you have to, like I am here, pull this apart. And once you stitch it, that crease will be gone. And pull it again, try to get most of that crease out. All right. And just brush off those chalk marks. Trim your threads, and you're done. If you want to, you could put a flat button in the middle, but that's completely optional and up to you. And there's just a perfect size pot holder to hold in your hand, and it won't let the heat through, and it's just great for kids to handle. And you can make this in about an hour.